Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Let's Talk About Stuff, in which I grovel for forgiveness at the altar of my sins. Starting off strong. So the month of November is almost over, and I have yet to release a video. Now, this is not terribly uncommon among video essayists, where the stuff that, I'm not going to lump myself into a we, I'm just going to say I. The stuff that I tend to do is a little bit complicated, takes some time. I spent probably 60 hours on the Anya's Ghost video, and that one has been shot or was shot since June. But even my counterpoints response video, which is something that I literally threw together in a weekend, I still spent probably 25-30 hours editing that from script to final product. These things take time, and honestly, that's good. That's the point. I try to make stuff that is slightly above average in terms of quality in order to trick you into liking it. And I just, I want to make good stuff. And if it means taking forever to do it, that's fine. It's good. A+, good job, me. But the problem is that I am a soon-to-be former college student. I graduate in December after altogether 6 years in undergrad, plus 2 that were basically just gap years that I took. So it's been a hot minute, and I really need to actually graduate because I can't do this thing again where I take a break and then come back. It's got to be done now, or it ain't never gonna get done. So I'm a film student, and that means that a lot of the stuff that I have to do, I have to write a couple of different essays. I have to one of my classes, I actually have to make a bespoke video essay, which I'm probably going to do about Thor Ragnarok, and they're asking for like 2 minutes. We had somebody, a tech not professor, the person in charge of all of our gear in my college, come to this class and give like a little mini tutorial on how to make video essays, and using it was iMovie. Yeah, it was iMovie, which I do not use. I use Premiere Pro like a pro. And he showed us how to pull clips off of YouTube using a website that's gated at 720p, how to do, non-linear editing and add music and record voiceover straight into the timeline. So convenient, so time-saving. Which means it's bad to me. I'm superior for adding more steps to my process. But while giving that tutorial, he was like going through and making all of these fun little edits, and then he said, so you want to make sure that you keep it real concise, real short, because nobody wants to watch a video more than 5 minutes on YouTube. And he said it in this really condescending way. And nobody, some of the faculty know that I do video essays. None of them know that I've found some modicum of success recently, but they also apparently just don't know that people like Hbomberguy exist, where the Fallout 3 video that he did that's like 2 hours long, it has over 1 million views. Nobody wants to watch a video that's more than 5 minutes long. And I really wanted to raise my hand and just be like, hey, hi, I have a video that's damn near 30 minutes long that is taking a part of video that's shorter than that, and my video has almost 100,000 views. I don't know if that qualifies as nobody. This is really like gloaty right now, what I'm doing. I don't know. Basically, I'm better than other college students. Jesus Christ. But anyway, I have to do like a bespoke video essay for that. That's like 2 minutes. And I do actually have a lot that I want to say about Thor Ragnarok. It's something that I've wanted to do a video about for a little while. So I'm thinking of using that as kind of an excuse to basically take a section, a tiny little chunk of a script, and turn that into like a 2 minute thing that I can turn in for a grade, and then expand it exponentially for a video essay for your tastes. Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm inherently disappointed when I see a YouTuber that I really like upload a video that's shorter than 10 minutes, even 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, come on, give me some of that good content. We demand so much. So I've got that I got to do. I've got to write an essay before the end of this week. I've got to write another essay before the end of next week, probably. I've got several big tests, which I won't study for. And I've got a couple of video projects that are due in one class. But the thing is, I'm using those for the next video, which I'm about to talk about. And I've also got a pretty big project that I have to do by the end of January that I want to get started on fairly soon. That's for the study abroad program that I did over this summer. On top of that, as somebody who is about to graduate, I have no plans, no net. So I'm looking for a job. I gotta get a car. I gotta do all these adult things that I've been putting off forever because as a closeted trans person, didn't know what the fuck I was doing with my own life. Whoops, I cussed. I did a cuss. I apologize. I didn't know what I was doing. And all the adulting just wasn't for me. But now it has to be for me, and I feel like I'm playing catch up. It's not great. I don't recommend being in the closet. If you're trans, come out and start working on it, because your whole personal thing gets a lot better, a lot healthier when you do that. So there's just a lot of like actual real world stress that's going on in my little universe right now that's keeping me from doing stuff. There's probably everybody feels this like paralysis right now in 2018 where everything is so stressful. Like there's just nothing going on in the world that's not a nightmare hellfire of some variety. And it's hard to find any kind of respite. And when you do find something really good that you enjoy, you feel guilty for doing it. And then when you're like me and you're doing like videos that's, you know, oh, what's the symbolism of this scene in this movie? What does the mise en scène imply? But it's hard to really care and put in those 40 hours of like writing and proofreading and editing and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because it's like, who cares? Our country is run by a fascist. The world is melting. Who cares about movies? I don't know. That's not really true. Like people need entertainment, and you know, it's like one of the handful of things that I'm good at. So I might as well do it. All this is to say that I've had a bit of a rough time getting something out for November. So a year ago, on November 3rd, I want to say, I released a video that's called "Hello, I Hate My Body." And that is essentially a coming out video. I didn't think of it as that because I'd been out for a little while. It was more of just me venting about my feelings about myself and my position in the world and sort of my history with my body. And but people around me have started calling it coming out videos. That's just my shorthand for what it is. A lot has changed since that video came out, and I wanted to do a follow-up that I had initially planned to come out a year to the day afterwards. And this is a video that I've also been sort of plotting for basically the last 3 months. That is, I'm using bits and pieces of it for a class, and it's it got a bit out of hand, as my projects tend to do when I don't set my sights at a realistic level. Everything that I have planned is executable, but it's a lot. It's a lot. So originally I was thinking, oh, I'll have it out by, early November. I need more time. I'll have it out mid-November. Probably late November. Well, it's late November now. There's like 5 days left in the month in my timeline right now. There ain't a chance in hell that my video's coming out on any kind of reasonable timeline. The reason why this is a concern is that, as you might know, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/LTAS. For as little as $1 a month, you can support me making videos like this on $5 a month. Some of those strips and materials. I had this whole spiel memorized at this point. It's like, it's programmed into me every time I mention Patreon, patreon.com/ Jesus. Anyway, so one of the tiers, the $10 tier, I read people's names out loud and the credits. And I know everybody understands, and it's like, this is such a normal thing for YouTubers that do bigger projects where things get delayed and it's like, whoops, I'm sorry, nothing's coming out this month. But I still feel bad about it because I got a number of people who are giving me more than $10 a month. And, you know, I don't want to rob you, I guess, of that money without the thing that you paid for per month. So I wanted to get a video out in November. And I knew that once I knew that the sequel to my coming out video is not coming out this month, I was trying to figure out something that I could do in the meantime. And I had a bunch of different ideas. The thing with all of those ideas, though, is that every single one of them, as I spent time with them, I couldn't really get them done to my satisfaction without compromising in a major way. I did 2 videos way back in a series that I had been thinking about for a long time called Forgotten Films, which were basically like, it was just an excuse to talk about movies that, in my opinion, don't get enough love in critical circles. I decided that was going to be like an improvised video without much of a script with just like notes. And I don't like those videos. I'm not a fan of them because I wrote a much longer like actual essay about like the film Michael Clayton for one of my film classes. And I really like that movie and I have a lot to say about it. And I feel like that video doesn't do justice to either the film or my take on it. And I want to do like an actual scripted video essay about it. And this is why I was like, I stopped doing those after 2, is that I felt like I was missing thoughts. It weren't structured. It was messy. It wasn't as good as it could have been. And I'm a perfectionist, whatever. Just release stuff. It doesn't matter. But I still like, I want to, I don't know. I'm not in love with those videos. And I don't, everything that I was coming up with to do for this November, basically, I realized that there was a lot of stuff that was worth saying. One of the videos that I've been wanting, that I was investigating, was looking into like the politics of the McElroy brothers in terms of like what their podcasts and shows imply politically, where they try to be apolitical, but everything is political. And it kept blowing up the more I thought about it, because there's actually a lot to say that's really interesting. And I decided, okay, no. What do I have that I have evidence for? Because I do not have the time to re-listen to all of the Adventure Zone. I can't like delve into hundreds of episodes of My Brother and Me. I have to pare it down. I actually just finished rewatching all of Monster Factory because I needed something to laugh at riotously, which is that Monster Factory is good for that. And I realized that there's a lot to say about Monster Factory too. But the longer that I spent typing out that script, the more it's like, dang it, I don't want to compromise on the script because it's good. There's good stuff to say about this. It's really interesting, actually, because it's something that I wasn't able to find anybody else like this taking that topic to task. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. So I don't want to just rush something out just because I feel an obligation to get something out. I would rather do something like this at this point, where I'm just talking directly to you and trying to explain myself, or just do like a vlog of like, here's my life, what I'm doing, as opposed to make like a sloppy video essay that isn't edited up to my standards of quality, and that ultimately I feel like I just want to redo because I could be more concise. And this is my albatross, where so many of the videos that I've started, I've abandoned for specifically this purpose, or for this reason, because I want to say the perfect thing. And that's impossible, ultimately. But it's still important for me. I'm trying to step back because, again, the ContraPoints video is by a factor of many the most popular video on my channel. And I put that together in the course of a weekend. And it's not up to the standard of quality. When I look back at it, when I rewatch it, it's like there's more that I could have said. I wish I had gone more into the textual analysis part. That's actually something that I kind of stumbled into later in the progress. Anyway, point is, I was not able to compromise on a shorter video for this month that I could make on a shorter time scale. So the thing is, though, this next video I think is going to be worth the wait. It is easily the most ambitious thing that I've ever attempted. It's my first real collaborative work on this channel. Molly.noise, who is on my podcast, the Trans Questioning podcast over here. She's doing music for this video. She's done a bunch of music, and it's all incredible. And I really, at this point, just want to get the video out as an excuse to demonstrate the music. And May Leitz, Nick Spheres, who's also on my podcast and is also a prolific YouTuber, she's got a role in this video that's really interesting, and it's probably one of my favorite parts of the video. And I'm still kind of figuring out what that means. This is also one of the first videos that I've done for this channel that is very much something that I'm finding in the edit, because it's not a traditional like linear essay. It starts as one, but it gets a little weird. So it is a sequel to my coming out video, but it's much more stylized. It's much more cerebral. It's probably going to be upwards of 40 minutes long, and it's going to be very painful. It's a very dark video because it's about transitioning as a concept. Right now, my working title for it is In Transition. It's kind of a bland title, but it gets the point across. I feel like it's appropriate. I don't know. I think it's going to be really good. Everything that I've shot for it so far is really good. And I've got 80% of it scripted. It's a story that's in 5 parts. I've shot most of the first part. I've got a lot of the second part edited. I know everything that's in the third part. I've got the 4th part scripted and need to shoot it. And then part 5 is a mystery to me. So it's all coming together. The thing is that I can't rush it. I have to rush 2 parts of it for a class. And I have to feel it out. This one is very intuitive. I have to dig my hands deep into it and sort of like rustle around in the mud and try to scurry around to find little acorns in the sand. What? The sand? Jesus. Listen to me talking about my process like some fucking important author. Writing a novel is actually quite like going on an adventure. You see, you set out into the wastes and you're looking around and there's absolutely nothing to guide you except the interior of your soul. So you find the heart of the book out there in the world. Kind of lost that accent there at the end, but that's fine. The thing is, I have stuff for other classes and other priorities that I absolutely have to focus on this week that I just don't have time to do a shorter video. And I have just so much on my plate right now specifically that I've run out of time to get something out for November. And I feel really bad about it. I don't like that this is the position that I'm in, but this is just where I am. That's just the position that I'm in right now. And once I've graduated, things will clear up quite a bit. I have a pretty good plan of what I want to do. Basically, once this video comes out, I'm going to turn around and go full tilt. I'm actually doing a pretty good job pointing, right? You can kind of see all of this stuff up here. It's been almost a full calendar year since part one of my Twin Peaks deep dive came out. Or since I started working on it. It came out in March, didn't it? I started working on it in January of this year, but it's almost been a full calendar year since then. And the project is not abandoned. It's just that, again, I went back to school. I didn't have time, and then I left the country for a month, and then I got back into school. It was my last semester, and I had a million things on my plate. And the Twin Peaks series is also a really ambitious thing where I'm trying to tell some kind of story or fucking whatever. But I'm going to dive into that in the new year, and I'm going to try to actually have that be finished before summer. I don't know. So I've got some tentative plans for that. I've got another bunch of videos that I'm working on script-wise, conceptually. I want to do like the Monster Factory / McElroy Brothers video. There's a lot of stuff. There's supposed to be a video about Star Fox 64 that came out this month, but again, I ran out of time. And that one was also complicated, and I fell in love with the script, but the thing was, it was like 12 pages, so it would have been about 35 minutes long, with all of the other stuff that like was like video that I had planned. Again, too much work for the time that I have, and really, it's me just gushing about Star Fox 64 and not making a point. So I have to redo it. I have to cut it down, and I don't know how to do that. I couldn't figure out how to do that without getting rid of all of the stuff that I really, really loved, that I thought, because it's a really funny script so far. I still want to do it, and I will eventually, I'm sure, because I have a lot of, I love that game. It's my favorite game. So I have plans for the new year, and I'm going to be able to actually devote all of my time, or most of my time, to the channel, presuming that whatever job that I get gives me, some kind of amount of freedom. And yeah, this video that's about to come out, probably mid-December, if not late December, I think is really good, and I think you will like it, and I think it'll be worth the wait. Is that it? Is that everything? I've gone on. My take here is 32 minutes. I imagine the actual thing, once I've edited it down, will be shorter, but I'm not sure. It's still probably 20 minutes. Oof. It's way longer than a vlog ought to be. Am I right, folks? So that's the long and short of it. No new big video this month, and I apologize. Really big, weird, wild video next month, and hopefully more consistent output in the new year. New year, new you. So it's insufficient, but I would like to give a very special thanks to Kill All Landlords, Logan McQuiston, Austin McCauley, The Mornhammer, Amy Mims, Luke Jensen, Bianca Gonzalez, Risha Juris, Tzet, Richard Daly, Latier, sorry I got your name wrong last time, Sorge Strife, and Anarcho Duck. Those folks are my $10 a month patrons who pay $10 a month to have their name read aloud in the credits of my videos, and not in the at the back end of an overlong apology vlog. There's also probably There's also probably a list of names over here. These are also my other patrons, and they're all a bunch of cool folks giving me money. You could be one of these folks too. I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff for the $5 tier. You get my notes and scripts and outtakes. For the Anya's Ghost video, I haven't finished these yet because I haven't, but in the new year, I'm going to post these things. I've got a breakdown of basically a making of video for a particular shot, just to show what's going into all of the things that I'm doing setup wise, and like the logic behind where my camera goes. Wow. As I mentioned before, I also have a podcast, the Trans Questioning Podcast, where I talk about the weird things about being transgender and trying to come to terms with being transgender and give advice. And it's basically just become an advice show at this point, is what I should say. Advice / interviewing people. So you can go over there. I've talked to Nick Spheres, I've talked to Shannon Strucci, who's not trans, but she's really cool. And we just I just wanted to talk to her, and I used it as an excuse. To be honest, I'm a hack. I'm a fraud. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your patience and understanding. I will see you again eventually. Okay, I guess that's it. What does it mean to transition? It's a strange word because it's definitionally reliant on a state of beforeness and a state of afterness between which it rests.
I'm afraid of being found out.
When a person comes out as trans, ideally we respect their pronouns and we call them by their new name and we treat them as if they have already transitioned.
Like that people are going to find out that I'm a trans person?
Your behavior changes, the way you think changes, you change in ways you might not even notice.